Hey family, it's Netta back at you with Black Lives Count. I hope you are all doing well. I hope you are staying warm in this cold weather. And I hope you have, yourselves in a place where you are resting and comfortable and not worrying about this United States burning down to the ground. We don't care. We don't care. So family, I want to talk to you guys today about something that I came across my desk this morning, that Donald Trump has signed an executive order and is trying to or wants to or will begin reopening insane asylums and places like that to place the homeless people. So I'm going to read just a little bit to you from a small an overview from a small article. So it says Donald Trump has repeatedly called for the return of large-scale mental institutions or insane asylums, particularly as a solution to homelessness and public disorder, advocating for involuntary commitment for those with severe mental illnesses or substance use issues. An approach that aims to shift from community-based care to more institutionalized treatment, sparking debate between supporters who see it as necessary for public safety and critics who fear a return to past inhumane practices and criminalization of illnesses. Trump has spoken about reopening or building new large mental hospitals to house those individuals. He has signed, as I said, executive orders in July of 2025 entitled Ending Crime and Disorder on American Streets, directing federal agencies to explore making civil commitments easier and expanding mandatory treatment for those on the streets with mental illnesses. So I'm going to stop right there. So family, we already know right here that this is a dog whistle so that he can have pure exempt power to lock up black people, because that's what it is. Who are the number one homeless on the streets of America? It is black Americans. That's who it is, okay? There are many black Americans or black immigrants, whoever, that are facing homeless right now. In fact, because I watch a couple of channels, I don't consider it homeless if you're sleeping in your car, because at least you have something to, house you, or your van or whatever. But I've even found a couple of channels of like Jamaicans or immigrants that are currently sleeping in their cars and stuff. This will target black people. This is what this will target. See, back in the day, when black people were disobedient or didn't want to agree with being mistreated or things like that, they could take them and put them in an insane asylum and say they were insane. When black people didn't want to, even when they didn't want to be slaves, they would consider them crazy. Okay, that's what they did. A lot of people don't know the history of America and the slave trade, and so they come here and they side with white supremacy, and they think that, as long as I'm Indian or Southeast Asian or African or Caribbean or I'm from Asia or whatever, from the Caribbeans, that, if I side with white supremacy, that, and use their talking points and treat black people like crap, this excludes me from brutality from the police or from the government. And it doesn't. And a whole lot of y'all is about to figure out and find out. You will be willingly running back to your homes if you can, because a lot of you are already finding out. See, this is what Black America has been saying. Now, there is a history in America where people of color, black people, I'll say black people, okay, because before the Civil Rights Act, it was predominantly black and white in America, okay, black Americans and white Americans were in America, and predominantly these things were used against black people. So now you see how you can have a veteran that is homeless on the street because he has nowhere to go, no family that can take him in or whatever, and he could have mental health, maybe not depression. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, who doesn't get depression? I'm a therapist, and people get depressed. Even therapists, psychologists, whatever, doctors, MDs, everybody who does not have not at one time or another suffered with depression. But they can say, okay, he has a history of depression, and even though he's taking his medication, he's homeless, so we can just take him and lock him up. Family, this is what it is coming to. So I'm going to say, yeah, I don't advocate for black people getting out in them streets right now at all. Period. We're not fighting for nobody else. But when they bring that shit to us, we this time must be ready to fight. And I don't give a damn what. Because, and when I say fight, I mean let's do it the right way, the legal way. You know what I'm saying? We can file class action lawsuits. We can file class action lawsuits against the government. We can even file a class action lawsuit with the United Nations, which I don't know if it'll go anywhere or not, because they don't give a damn. They have been aware of the situation of black Americans in America all of this time and have not done anything about it. So, that just tells you where we are in this world. But those are things we can do. A lot of times I look at black lawyers. The only and the last lawyer, black attorney, that I can say I would take my hat off to was Johnny Cochran, because that man was filing a lawsuit against the United States government for reparations, okay? And there's a lawyer on YouTube, I can't think of his name. He's a black attorney. I can't think of his channel, but I asked him one day in his comments. They were talking about white supremacy and the right. See, they always talk about the right, but never the left. And both, as Malcolm X so eloquently put it, they are two wings of the same bird. Both sides work for white supremacy, but many of us don't want to hear it. We don't want to accept that, because the Democrats we believe that the Democrats are going to be our savior. There is no savior from the Democrats. What do you see the Democrats doing right, well, other than talking nonsense right now? But outside of that, what are they doing? They're doing anything. And if you really want to be real, the Democrats are the reason that the immigrants are in this situation, because they allowed them to come in here, unvetted. And then once they got in here, they gave them all types of money and resources and housing and medical and just everything. Even Social Security is what the Ukraine people are getting, okay? For those people that are fighting to get their Social Security disability, Ukraine refugees are getting Social Security disability, okay? And half of them don't have no disabilities. They're getting it as a form of income, okay? But we have to understand that we are at a crossroads, black America, black family. B1, foundational black Americans. We are at a crossroad, and we have to be supportive to ourselves. We can't support any other groups. They can try to lock it all in with black people of color or people of color or black and brown coalition. There is no black and brown coalition, and there never was. There is no solidarity with other black communities, unfortunately. It's just not, never has been. They came over here, and their first and foremost support and coalition goes to immigration, and that's it. Okay, and that's fine. That's not a problem. But I am telling you, we are headed for some dark times. So now they're developing more laws and stuff to try to throw black people under the bus. It's never ending. And black family, voting Democrat is not going to help us. We have been in this situation for years. I got a video coming up about the amendments for black people voting. The voting rights, and how every 25 years our voting rights go on the chopping block. At any time when it comes up, they vote on it. They can say, you know what, we're not going to allow black people to vote anymore. You know what I'm saying? It is, and the Democrats have not done anything about that, and they won't. They won't, because right now their plan was to migrate all of these immigrants into the country, and the black community had been the voting base for Democrats. And so now black people are asking for reparations. See, once that call for reparations started getting so loud, they didn't want to hear it anymore. So what they decided was, we're going to immigrate immigrants here, and then we'll make them our voting base. And then the very immigrants that they immigrated here and helped settle didn't vote for their asses. So now they like, yeah, well, we still got to pour into the immigrants. That's why you see Maxine Waters and people of that nature out there, up in arms about ICE. That's why. Because they are now focused on the immigrants as their voting base. Black women. I am a black woman too. Okay? I voted for, up until Biden's last election, I voted for Biden. I remember on his campaign when Biden said that he was going to open up discussions for reparations, and he was going to have discussions about not allowing the police to have, or law enforcement to have, complete immunity from prosecution of killing unarmed innocent people. But when he got elected, he didn't do that. I stood in that line with my children, voting to vote for him. Okay? And he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything that he promised. And then once he was elected, he got on a Zoom call with so-called black leaders. I don't know. They're not our black leaders. But got on a Zoom call and told them that they need to learn to work with the Hispanics, because the Hispanics were going to be taking over. That's what he said. And that's what he did. I get it. No, I did not vote for Kamala. I did not. Because I would not vote for another Democrat. I for damn sure am not voting for Republicans unless they have policies for black Americans. But I will not vote for Democrats anymore. They have had just a disdain, a disgusting stance about black Americans for a long time. For a long time. In fact, they used to be the Dixiecrats. They were the racists. They invented the Ku Klux Klan. This information is public knowledge. When I was being raised, I remember my parents telling us, well, it's the lesser of two evils. But if they're both evil, what sense does it make to support them? I don't know. I'm just saying, family, that we have to come to terms that the relationship with the Democrats is severed. It is completely annihilated. And we should completely bury it and demand what we are looking for our community. And if they don't give it to us, they don't get our vote. All right, family, I thank you so much for watching, liking, and sharing the video. And I ask you, if you're not a subscriber, come on over and join us. We'd love to have you. Okay? We're all friends over here, and we just have discussions. We just tell the truth, and the truth is life. Okay? All right, family. Peace, love, and blessings to you, and Black power. Take care, family. Bye-bye.